Hey guys, I'm just doing a quick video on how a Night Elf base should look, uh, where everything should be, why it's good, what races it's good versus kind of thing. Just gonna kind of make this go faster, give myself good goals and wood. So, the first build I'm gonna do, it's my favorite build to do on any map. What you want to do, this one, it's actually kind of nice for Echo Isles especially, but most of the time with any Night Elf base build, you want the altar up against the tree line, make sure it's blocked up there so nothing can get through except for like small units like a wisp or a ghoul, footman, talons, those types of things. Then the Moonwell just goes right underneath like that. Normally you have your AOW over here, AOW creeping, but after it's done, you bring it back over and just downroot it right there. Your other Moonwells go up against this other tree line here, make sure it's blocked, and then you would just build out from there. Because I know this map and how I block, need to put a little in. So one thing, I don't know if you noticed about Moonwells, you don't need a full, like, put a Moonwell right next to another to block, like, that kind of thing, like that. You can leave one gap in between it, and that's still fully blocked. As you can see, Demon Hunter can't get in, even though there's that one little space gap. And the only units that can get in, again, are something like a ghoul, footman, druid of the talon. Not even archers can get in or out. This base is nice because if, say, maybe a few wells are out or you're getting attacked, want to be safe, you uproot it real fast, run in, heal up, whatever. You can actually keep it uprooted if you need to just fight a little, but when he moves away, you can just downroot, you're safe inside your base, can't get in or out, ready to move out again, uproot, run out. This base build works pretty much versus any race. I like it best versus Orc because late game, well, I guess it's good versus every race for this reason. Your tier 2 buildings can just fit back here. And if you're actually versing like human or elf or something, want a hunter's hall, you can put the hunter's hall in this gap here, or up here inside the base. Either spot works, but then the lore fit 2 tier 2 buildings up here. Usually I put my shop, if it's not near the tavern, can go outside, real close, whatever. So the nice thing about this, you usually always want your tier 2 buildings behind your wells and ancient war, just to be protected. You don't want your tier 2 buildings to die, lose your unit production, you'll get behind. It's safer to have the Moonwells actually out front, even though they're Moonwells and give you the food to build the units. They're usually easier to build and get up. The nice thing, say versus Orc, usually go Talons. Talons can just fit through the block no problem, so you don't need to worry about uprooting this. But versus other races, what you want to do is late game, just move it out, so your tier 2 units can always just run in and out whenever you want. So pretty much those are some advantages to this base. If you're getting harassed, you know, you're pretty safe just having this single gap here to protect you. And if it's like an air harass, you have room for like your units to just run all around and hit the line of trees. Um, the weakness to this build is usually versus Orc. It takes 4 Moonwells to actually get the block, so if the blade decides to harass, he'll probably be able to get in and harass you. That's if he sends his blade right away. The way I do it, I kind of get a late tech to tier 2 as Night Elf, so I normally have these 3 wells already up and have my tech to tier 2 going after these 3 wells. And then the 4th well comes a little later, and it should kind of be up by the time a level 2 blade harass comes, if they decide to do it that way. But level 1 blade can get in, try and wisp rape if he wants or needs to. So that's one of the downfalls to this base, but all in all, it's solid. This next base build is, I think, more common, kind of see it more only versus orcs. What you want to do, it works on any map again. What you want is, you don't need to build the moonwell first, just doing it for an example. You want the moonwell right up against your tree, and the altar against the moonwell, and against whatever trees up here. Make sure it's blocking, so this way nothing can get in and out besides, you know, like small units. They'd have to run all the way around. Then the other well would be like here or something, and Ancient War finally with the block there. This base block I would only suggest doing versus Orc if you were to do it. It's pretty bad versus other races. The advantage to this base block over the other one is 2 wells blocking instead of 3 or 4. And the disadvantage, you can only fit 1 tier 2 building back here, which means you'd have one wide open out here, which could get easily killed, cancelled. Another disadvantage, your moonwells are kind of stuck being placed like this for late game, which isn't really the best thing either, but it's still a solid way to get in and out, just uproot, downroot. And I do not suggest it versus human, undead, or versus night elf. Just because versus those 3 races you want a more open base, which is why I like the first base build I showed, because it's open, you can easily get in there and out because it would be in the middle and have lots of room back there. But there is actually a more standard base build versus those other races. So versus human, undead, night elf, a more standard base build would be, again, altar, usually always right up against the tree line. It doesn't really matter for the moonwell if you want to put it right next to the altar, or if you want to spread it out a bit. The point of this base is to kind of have a more open base build. This one right here is more against Night Elf. I would not suggest putting one over here, maybe the Hunter's Hall if you wanted to. What's nice about this build is the Ancient War would usually run back, maybe drop down there. For tier 2 buildings, for a shop could go like here. Tier 2 buildings just go inside of here. This gives you lots of room. The tier 2 buildings are protected from a kind of harass with things out front. Usually versus human or more against undead, you want your second and third well closer to the trees, because a ghoul harass, they usually have a few ghouls trying to kill your wisps. So this way you can easily just heal when they're getting attacked, or you can always do the tougher way of swapping in and out for wisps. If you're good, you can do that, but a more open base is better versus human or undead. And versus Night Elf, you can pretty much do whatever you want with base builds. But yeah, this keeps them safe back here. Easy to get in or out of the base, easy to fight in the base, as things can just run around freely. So yeah, this is probably the most common base, but this base absolutely blows Versor, just because they'll just kill your wisps all day. And there is a fourth base build that I wanted to show, but it's not really too good. Don't really see it too often anymore. And that would be, just gonna show it real fast. Doesn't really matter where the altar goes, but it should be against a tree line, moonwell next to it, maybe leave a gap for the next moonwell, and why not, let's just give it another little gap and another moonwell. So this base is mainly again versus orc or something that tries to come harass your wisps. They won't be able to get in to get to them. Maybe these two, but if they get attacked, just run them out. And the disadvantages to this build are your trees are wide open. All your tier 2 buildings, which will be out here, wide open. So this build mainly just protects your wisps, and I wouldn't suggest doing it. Unless you just want to have fun. And your moonwells are kind of all back here, so just not the best. Well, those are the 4 main Night Elf bases you can do. I only suggest doing the first one I showed you, or just having that open base. Both are solid in my opinion. Yeah.